Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to have to get access to the fuel rail. And it's underneath both of these hoses here. There's two screws, or not two screws, there's two nuts to pull off on each side. Now the two nuts on this side are missing. They came missing, so we'll just pop this off here, pull this off like this, and this bright shiny silver piece is the fuel rail. Well, suggestion I have for you is if you're going to do this, you get your nuts off of your studs here, put them back on. That way you're not searching around for them when it's time to put things back together. If you don't put them back on, at least put them in a box, and that way you'll know where all your parts are. Okay, so we have access to our fuel rail now. And again, the fuel rail is that shiny piece. See that sitting there? And that has our injectors in it as well. As you can see, we have 4 injectors on each side, and we have 4 plugs. We've got to take these plugs off next, and that way when we get ready to pull the injector, the fuel rail, the injector should pop right out right with it. Now to pull these injector plugs, there's a little tab. We're just going to push in on the tab and pull out. And these plugs should just pop right on out. Sometimes it's a little tough to get your fingers in there. But you heard that one just pop out. And then this one looks like it's going to be a little tight too. And there it is. We'll go ahead and we'll do that for the next 4 on the other side. And then we'll get to pulling out the bolts for the fuel rail. As you can see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts to pull out to pull this fuel rail out. So we'll go ahead and get started with that. Okay, these are going to take a 10mm deep well socket, basically just so that we can get to them, which is also what these nuts are here, are 10mm. All right, 1 bolt. You can see it's pretty long. There's 2. There's 3. And 4. Okay, now we want to remove the fuel rail just by pulling up. Those injectors should pop out of there. And there we go. Fuel rail, 8 injectors. I have found some crud, some dirt, and some minor dirt after pulling these injectors off. I couldn't get down there to clean it, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a small toothbrush and brush the dirt away from the holes so that there's no debris that gets in there when we pull this manifold. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is start to remove some of the hardware off of the manifold. There's a little bitty vacuum line right here that we're going to have to remove. Pretty easy. Take your screwdriver. Yeah, now that I say pretty easy. And there it goes. Loosen that little hose clamp, pull the hose off. Okay, the next thing we have to do is remove these connections from the charge motion control valve that's underneath the manifold here. And to do that, all we have to do is pull this red clip down, push down on this portion right here, and pull them off. A little bit different for this blue one. What you'll do here is push down on this blue tab, and these things come out like so. So again, the blue tab, pull it out. The red tab, pull down on the red tab. I pulled that one out a little bit too far. Push in, and it pulls out. I've also numbered these. Since there's a boatload of them, I numbered them before I went ahead and disconnected them. That way I'll be able to get them back together in the proper order. Okay, I was so engrossed in getting these nuts on the manifold that I forgot to go ahead and do all the throttle body work. We'll need to take this hose off here by loosening this clamp. We've already gotten this one off. We'll need to remove this connection. And we'll need to, I'm not sure you can even see it, but see it way down in here. Right there. That's a connection we're going to need to take off as well. And finally, this double band clamp here, and we'll do that with a pair of pliers. So we've loosened this hose clamp. We'll just go ahead and pop that off. We'll remove this hidden hose down here by pushing this up. Well, I'll need to get to that in a minute. We'll go ahead and take our pliers. Push these clamps together, loosen it up. Pop that one off. Now we should be able to get to the other. And that is just pushing this direction. Let me see if I can get a better shot here. And it moves this direction, and that should pop off. And of course, I forgot to pull this one out. We're just going to pull the red tab out, push the black tab in, and that thing should come right off. Now, our throttle body and manifold should have no encumbrances except for the bolts. I'm going to use a deep well, let's see, a deep well quarter-inch looks like. Okay, I misspoke earlier. This is a 5/16 deep well quarter-inch socket. There are 6 manifold bolts to come out. Three on each side. Here we go. There it is, she's off. Okay, we've got the manifold over there on the bench. I'm going to clean these mating surfaces up and tape them off so that no debris or any strange little critters get in there. And I'm going to do that just by taking a can of brake cleaner, put it on my rag, you can see that it's kind of wet. I'm going to come over here and just clean that, wipe it down. Not going to go crazy on it, anything like that. Just get the debris off. See, it's dirty, but it's not oil soaked or anything like that. I'm pretty happy. Again, I got this thing used. Came out of a 2016 Mustang, and it looked like in the pictures that he had sideswiped something. Now, why someone would go ahead and total a car just because the sides were damaged, I don't know. Ain't like the old days where you could even get a $500 beater, so. Anyway, that's really as clean as that needs to be to get this taped up. Actually, I can see some dirt in here. I'm going to grab something and see if I can't scrape it out. Oh yeah. Just loose, some loose debris, some loose dirt. You know, it happens. So I'm just going to take my shop vac. I'll see if I can't get this noise out of the video, but I'm going to just take my shop vac and suck that up. Not bad, not bad. Not bad at all. Grab my brake cleaner rag. The reason why I want to get all that out is because the tape's going to run up there too. Oh yeah. That looks pretty decent. Pretty decent, if I do say so myself. So let me go over here and get some painter's tape. I'm going to use painter's tape because it'll seal it up pretty nice, but it won't leave all that sticky gummy residue. And I'm not going to put this back on until after it's in the car, which will be, I don't know, just depends on when the last race is. I can get this thing inspected in August. I might get it inspected and forego the October race just because I want to get this thing in. I'm tired of looking at it sitting here. I want to play. But the reason why I'm doing any of this is to hit that 200-mile mark. 200-mile-an-hour mark, excuse me. And that little 4.6 just isn't going to get it. So we're going to have to go with something a little bit bigger. And we'll play with this one for a year, see how she does. There we go. We're good to go. I'm going to do the other side exactly like that and put this bad boy up for a little bit.